Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics. Yes, even on Christmas Day. Actually, a little bit of a cheat. This isn't Christmas Day. I'm recording this on Christmas Eve. But then Christmas is the season of lies anyway. Never mind. In this video, I thought I'd actually do a bit of a seasonal retrospective of the channel for those who are interested. A look at the past, present and future, or hoped for future, for why the channel exists and what I hope to be able to do with it in the next few years. Basically, I'm going to crowbar Christmas in here by doing a Ghosts of YouTube past, present and future theme. So in terms of the past, it's 5 years, almost to the day, when I decided to produce this channel in the way that I have. It's not the 5th anniversary of the channel, to be clear. In fact, we're not actually very far off the 6th anniversary of starting the channel. But for most of 2018, I didn't really know what I was doing with it. What had been happening is I'd been running a gaming channel based on World of Warcraft for several years, a nice niche following, and then work got in the way and I had to step down from my playing, which meant then the source material completely disappeared for the channel. But by this time, I liked producing a YouTube channel. So if your channel all of a sudden has to make way for real life, it's like, but you like doing YouTube, what do? Well, you do what everyone tries to do, what appears to be the laziest way to do YouTube. You do a vlogging channel. But because it had no real focus, it had no regular content, and I wasn't targeting like particular types of audience or anything, you know, didn't even have particularly good content or even very good or even good content at all. So I didn't know what I was doing, didn't really get anywhere. But then 5 years ago, it's actually a few days before Christmas, I decided on a focus. I said, I'm going to do this. We're going to do it properly. I'm going to do content on an almost daily basis. Basically, that was the aim, video a day. And I decided to have that focus on British politics because it was clear during the December of 2018 that Brexit was going to blow British politics apart. It's like the old Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. Times were about to get very interesting, and I just felt that something was going to fundamentally change here. I'd been interested in politics from a stupidly young age, really. You know, I was as big a fan of political satire in my pre-teen years as I was of my Transformer toys. So I was going to be an avid observer of the political whirlwind anyway, and I thought, well, why not chronicle it? Because it occurred to me there aren't really that many people talking about British politics on YouTube from a left-wing perspective. In terms of those with a sustainable audience, that is, I mean, there's no shortage of channels on everything under the sun. But, you know, getting a few dozen views doesn't really show up on the Richter scale, does it? But I thought I could make the channel viable. I thought, you know, you can do this. I wasn't put off by the fact that there were so few channels. You know, I thought, you know, I thought actually it was an opportunity. And when I was building my gaming channel, I didn't just focus on content. I think a lot of people on YouTube, they focus on the content. They don't really focus on the method. Whereas I'm very interested in processes. So I spent time learning about the process of actually developing on YouTube. And a lot of the lessons I was learning, I didn't want to apply to my gaming channel for various reasons. But doing the political channel, I thought, no, well, this will be a good outlet for what I've learned. And given the combination of what I knew and, frankly, the political situation, I knew the time towards the end of 2018, that would be the ideal time to get going. So from the 1st of January 2019, I was straight in it. I knew what I was doing. I spent that Christmas thinking about it, planning it, and I was ready to go. And within a year, it was my primary source of income. Not that this was the plan from the start. In terms of where we've come from and to, let us look at some of my metrics from the last 4 weeks of analytics with the same period in 2018, 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, that 4-week period resulted in just over 17,000 views. Now it's 4.3 million views. Of those 17,000 views 5 years ago, I had 11.7 thousand unique viewers. So I was getting through to 11.7 thousand individual people, with 4.8 thousand of them being based in the UK. Now, in the last 4-week period, 5 years later, I have 643,000 unique viewers, with 425,000 of them being based in the UK. And this is what's important for the future of the channel. Yes, as I always intended, I want to chronicle what's going on in British politics in a forum that few others seem to have used. But it would be nice to make a difference as well. When it comes to people being able to make a choice in an election, for example, to be able to contribute to people making what I believe is the right decision, or at least, the decision of the best available from their choices. Or even away from elections, to help campaign groups that I align with get a message out, whether it be Labour's campaign for electoral reform or Stop the Tories, or even just an individual trying to make a positive difference. Being able to reach out to hundreds of thousands of individuals based in the UK means that the scope for a message getting an impact is much greater. Those hundreds of thousands don't watch each individual video, of course, so they're not all getting every message. For an individual message, you're usually talking tens of thousands. But those tens of thousands can talk to tens of thousands of others who will not watch the video, and the message can then have an impact. That is the potential of social media. That is the potential of being independent. That is the potential of working to be one of a depressingly small number of people who want to get that particular message out to the public on YouTube. Recently, in order to try and push that message further, I decided to do YouTube Shorts. That's relatively new, a few months ago. Unlike with the long form and to a lesser extent live content, where I know a lot about the process, I have no idea what I'm doing with Shorts, but nonetheless, something's working. In the last 4 weeks, I've had over 600,000 views on Shorts, and YouTube analytics really are very good. There's quite a bit of detail in there. It shows me that 10% of all my unique viewers are only watching my Shorts. So it's not like I'm producing bite-sized content for essentially the same people watching my more detailed stuff. I'm actually getting through to people who never watch my longer videos. This is an entirely new audience that I would otherwise not have available. That is tens of thousands of people who I can get a message to, albeit really brief, who simply do not watch my main content. And 68.3% of those who see my short on their feed click on it. Now, I don't know whether that's good compared to the average, but it seems quite good to me. It's something I hope to build on over the coming months as we gear up for the election as well. Because looking at the future, what do I want to do? First, I want to be a positive influence on the upcoming general election. Fact-checking, exposing false narratives, cutting through tribalism. Second, after the election, I want to argue strongly for electoral reform. There are so many reforms that we need. Our politics and by extension our society really is strained, and sticking plasters are not going to do the job. Third, I want to continue to chronicle the impact of politics, because doing so allows me to not only hold Labour to account on their promises, but where they do deliver, to show the difference it makes when you've got a real government. Because this Christmas video is a little bit different. So in the past, I've tended to do a video on Christmas Day. And it's always been fraught because I've wanted to talk about the way Christmas is lived for people. And it's tricky. There are a lot of people who simply don't have a happy Christmas. In fact, given the nature of Christmas, where people are encouraged to spend more and celebrate and be happy, this time of year can actually be way worse for some people. And it's important to recognise this, but then I feel bad for bringing people down when they're trying to enjoy Christmas, like the hardships that are faced by people at Christmas are not the fault of ordinary people able to celebrate Christmas. It's the fault of a very small number of very greedy people who never seem to be happy themselves anyway. Wouldn't it be nice in future Christmases, I can do a Christmas video where I can say, okay, well, this was the situation last year and this is the situation this year. It's better. The incomes have risen in real terms. So people's standard of living has increased, or that poverty has declined. How the data shows that there are fewer people facing Christmas hardships. That will be a more positive message to deliver. And I would like to do that in a couple of years' time. But there we are, a little catch up with the channel for those interested. Have a lovely Christmas. Remember, there's a reduced schedule this week, but in a few days' time, I'll start gearing up for the new year, which will, just like 5 years ago, be an election year. Happy Christmas all.